The Pink Pulpits Podcast, the gospel according to her. The Pink Pulpits Podcast explores the living, learning, and leading of women in the 21st century. How does the modern woman handle the world the gospel way? This podcast is for women in ministry, women surrounded by ministry, and so many more. Join us weekly on Saturdays at 6 p.m. for the Pink Pulpits Podcast, the gospel according to her.
Hey, everybody, this is Lady Nicole Green, and I am so excited about today's episode. Welcome to the Pink Pulpit Podcast, and this is truly the platform where women gather to be empowered by life's gospel, the gospel according to her. And it shifts them from surviving to thriving and to discover that their pulpit, whether your pulpit is the marketplace, ministry, mentoring, it is meant to inspire real life change. Our goal in this platform is to ensure that you know your pulpit matters and that you're able to make some ridiculous new movements and shift some things where you have influence. Today, we'll be diving into, I believe, a good, just powerful subject called the power of resilience. And I want you to go ahead and prepare to really take in this information that for some of you that may need to rebound or realign yourself, I want you to know that it is time for you to be resilient in this season, to make sure you know you can come back from whatever setback, whatever stagnant state, and wherever you may find yourself. What I want you to know is resilience is more than just getting back up after you've been knocked down. It's about pressing past the pain, pressing past the fear, pressing past doubt to get in position for the more. Can you put in the chat? Resilience is really getting yourself in position for more. And God has so much more in store for so many of us that if we will have the audacity to decide, I'm going to rebound, I'm going to not allow the rejection to hold me, but I'm going to be resilient and don't allow any moment to deter you and cause you not to understand there is more. So let me start with the story about, a woman that I believe was just really had what I would call tenacity. And this was the woman with the debt, right? Some of you have heard the story about the woman that had the debt and her husband has died. And she's sitting in a situation where she has this huge debt that her family and her have acquired. And who was she was the homemaker, if you would say, right, in modern time. And her husband was a breadwinner. So they're coming to get her sons to pay off the debt. And she's sitting there saying, okay, I got this debt. I don't know what I'm going to do. And basically she says, wait a minute. I've been faithful. My husband's been faithful. Let me go see the man of God about this situation. And she decides she's going to press past the moment where she finds herself. She's going to press past the fact that her husband's died, and she's probably dealing with some grief. She's going to press past the fact of the emotional state that you can get in when you got a debt that is pounding on you. And then the fact they're getting ready to come and get her sons and sell them into slavery to pay off the debt. She's decided, I'm going to press past and I'm going to get a solution. I'm going to get a strategy. I'm going to get an answer. And I'm not going to allow this temporary setback to hit me to the degree that I don't press past. And you got to recognize that that resilience positioned her for more, a new life, new opportunities, and a legacy that led her to be an oil tycoon. I want you to hear me today, that she didn't allow that temporary moment to overtake her to the degree that now she's sitting kind of in her feelings and woe is me, But she says, no, I'm gonna press past this. I'm gonna get an answer and I'm gonna get a strategy. Today, I want to share with you, I think, 3 powerful points that will help you press past your struggle and position yourself for more. Today is the day we're going to talk about the power of resilience. So, point 1. Remember, I talked about that resilience is more than just pressing past a moment, but resilience is understanding there is something after this. There is greater. There is an answer. There's a solution to get me out of what may be a perishing predicament, right? So I believe a resilient mindset transforms your story. Just get that in your mind. You have to be resilient in your mind first, that I believe will transform your story. Proverbs 23:7, one of my favorite scriptures, says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So as a woman thinks in her heart, so is she. Your mindset is the battlefield. Resilience begins with what you tell yourself about what you're going through. Are you calling it the end? Are you calling it preparation? Are you calling it an opportunity? Are you calling it temporary? You got to recognize that your mindset determines if you position your mind to believe, hey, this is not the end. This is not how it's going to be forever. This is not the totality of a situation, that I believe it really sets you up to transform your story. Can you say that with me? Transform your story. So you got to first start affirming God's promise over your life daily. Then you got to say it out loud. I am not defeated. Say it with me. I am not defeated. I am being developed. I know, right? I'm not defeated. I'm being developed. I'm being developed to be stronger, to be more steadfast, to be able to stand in the midst of some chaotic situations. And you got to know that the widow woman didn't define her future by the debt. She basically says this very clearly. Hold up. My husband's been faithful. There's got to be a strategy to get me out of this. And so what I want you to know, she chose to believe there was more ahead. And her decision transformed her story. Then 2 is resilience requires letting go of what you cannot control. You got to realize that you can do all things through Christ. This is not about controlling anything. It's knowing that he that controls all is in partnership and covenant with you. That's right. Isaiah 43:18-19 tells us, forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. She's saying, sis, holding on to what hurt you will paralyze you, but letting go will free you and move you forward. Can you get that? You got to not hold on to what's paralyzing you, but you've got to recognize if I let it go, it's going to move me forward. I would say, I'm going to ask you to do this. This is a great exercise. I want you to write down what you're holding on to. Fear, shame, disappointment, rejection, and surrender it to God in prayer. You got to recognize that this widow woman, she goes to the man of God to get a plan of action. That's surrendering her situation and saying, you know what? I don't know how to get out of it, but I'm going to let go of the fact that, hey, they coming to get my kids, but I'm getting ready to seek the face of God for how do I turn the tide of this situation? How do I turn this thing around? How do I turn this thing back in my favor? You got to let go and embrace the unknown. You got to let go. Here, this woman embraced the fact, the man of God says, hey, you got something in your house. She says, no, I don't. She said, yeah. He said, yes, you do. She says, well, what I got? He said, you got something. And she said, I got a little oil. And she embraced. Now, it's a little oil. She thinking, I can't do nothing with this little oil. But she embraced the fact that the man of God gave her a plan of action. And maybe if I follow the plan of action, I'll get the outcome that I need to answer my situation. That leap of faith placed her in a whole new era of being an entrepreneur. And her destiny connection changed. And now here it is. She not only paid the debt, she is now living off the rest. Can you hear that? She's living off the rest. And some of you may be saying to yourself, how do I get out of this? How do I plan? How do I purpose my life? How do I bounce back from what seems like something that is not bounce backable? I made a word, right? Something that looks like I'm so far gone, or I'm so far behind, or the financial place that I may find myself, there's no way possible I can get out of this. Can I say this to you? I told someone this yesterday. God can get you out in a millisecond, not even a whole second, in the half of a second. All it takes is one whisper, one God breathing in your direction. All you need is one thing, and the Spirit of God can show up and shift everything. One person that will put your name in a room that you've never been in before. One person that can decide, you know what? I want to bless her. I want to make something happen for her. Or God will put it in you in position. You got to recognize that this is about positioning yourself to receive not only provision, but also protection and promotion. This is what she got. She was protected from the people coming to get the debt, and it promoted her to not now having to depend on anybody, but she became sufficient in her own business. I need you to hear me, that this is about really understanding that if you will leap, you'll see God's hand. If you will make a decision that I got to let go of the negative thought. I got to let go of the pretentious place. And I got to see the possibility
Enjoying the
of what
Pink
lies
Pulpits
ahead.
podcast?
The
Be
power of
sure
being
to like and
resilient
follow
is
us
saying,
on
I
Spotify at
know
Pink
there's
Pulpits
got to be more.
Podcast.
I
Subscribe to our
know there's
YouTube
something
at
ahead of
Pink
me.
Pulpits
I
Podcast.
know that
Like
with
and
God,
save
all
our
things are
website at
possible. I know
pinkpulpits.org
that
and
He
get
said
our
that He will
amazing No More
perfect
Silly Women
everything
app
concerning
to
me.
get all
I got
updates
to
on the Pink
position
Pulpits
myself for the
podcast. And
perfection.
remember,
I
it's
got to
the gospel
position myself for
according
the
to her.
promotion. I got to position myself to get out of this pickle. I got to position myself for the greater, for the more. Point number 3 is resilience positions you for God's abundance. Ephesians 3:20, another favorite scripture of mine. It reminds us that God is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we could ask or think. Can I stop right there? What are you asking for? And if you're asking God just to get you out, stop. Ask God for the more. Ask God for the greater. Ask God for the bigger. Ask God for the promise. There's a promise with your name on it. And you got to fight past wanting to fall out. You got to fight past wanting to give up and make a decision. You know what? No, I'm not getting ready to get weary. I'm getting ready to get in this place of resistance. There's power in it. There is this positioning God, positioning yourself for God's abundance. And you got to realize, what are you thinking? It says ask or think. You got to put your thoughts, ask them to become agreeable with God's thoughts. The scripture says, God, make my thoughts agreeable with your thoughts. The same God that spoke the world into the existence, the same God that raised Lazarus from the dead, the same God that caused a widow woman to for the oil to not stop pouring, for the supernatural to happen in her house, that she then were able to fill up all of these vessels, go sell them, and then live off the rest. She became an oil tycoon, everybody. And you got to recognize, you got to think of yourself in the future that God planned. Can you write that out? I got to think of myself in the future that God planned. God planned the future for me. And I got to stop thinking about where I am and think about my future. To access the abundance, you must be in position. Resilience doesn't just help you survive, it positions you to thrive. That's the brilliance of resilience. You're not just trying to survive. You are going to thrive. You're going to crush it because I showed that I really have the ability to press past difficult moments, to press past difficult situations, to press past difficult news. The power of resilience is understanding there is something on the other side. All I got to do is get to it. Get back in position. And if you've stopped dreaming, start dreaming and start again. Resilience is, I'm willing to start again. If I got God, I got more than enough to start all over. Can you hear that? I got more than enough to start all over. If you've stopped praying, pray again. If you stop believing, believe again. If you have stopped honoring God with your faith, I'm asking you to faith again. Move with expectation. Move with a thought in your mind that God is going to perform what he promised me. You got to understand that you're positioning yourself for provision, for promotion, for protection, and for God's preemptive plan for your life. Ladies, can I say something to you? Resilience is your superpower. It's what helps you press past the pain and get back in position and believe again that God is able to do everything he said and that he has so much more for you. Like the woman with the debt, you don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to know how you're going to get out. You just need the faith to keep moving forward. The faith to know that if I will get in this positioned place of resilience, I will see what God promised. So here's my challenge to you. What area of your life needs your resistance today? Think about it. What area of your life needs you to press past and see possibility? Is it your work? Is it your relationships, your dreams, your marriage? What is it that needs your resistance? And whatever it is, press past it. Put that in the chat. Press past it and position yourself for more. The power of resistance is saying, I'm not going to let go until you bless me. The power of resistance is saying, I am not getting ready to ball up in a corner. I'm going to press past. I'm not going to get weary in well-doing because due is right around the corner. And if I will press past, I will see, I will obtain, I will gain, I will get, I will have it. And if you will decide today, I'm not going to settle for this. I'm not getting ready to allow this thing to defeat me, to defy me, to define me. This delay, this disappointing moment is not getting ready to be the place that I bury myself. I'm gonna press past. If you got a diagnosis, have the power of resilience to say, no, there's more for me because I'm not satisfied. And the word of God says, until I'm satisfied, I don't have to leave here. Can I really dial into you today? The power of resilience is saying, I'm going to hold myself accountable to the more. I'm not getting ready to allow myself to just sell myself short and not become and be all that I'm supposed to be. Today, the discussion is about you holding you to position yourself to do and become. You're so much more than where you are. And whatever has happened, don't you dare trip. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and be resilient today. Right? Be resilient today. I'm excited for you. The power of resilience is that you are going to fight through this thing. You're going to press past, and you are going to see what you know belongs to you. It belongs to you. So stop acting like it doesn't. Today, I want to thank you for joining me on today's episode of the Pink Pulpit Podcast. I pray these conversations have been empowering you and pressing you to just know that there's power on the inside. Don't you dare give up. Be resilient. Remember that your life is your pulpit, and every step of resilience you take is a sermon of faith and victory. If this podcast blessed you, will you share it? Will you tell your friend about it? Subscribe and make sure that you hit that button where it reminds you of every time we come on, which is every Saturday at 6 p.m. There's other sisters that need to hear this. On Spotify, YouTube, our website, the pinkpulpits.org, on our app, No More Silly Women app. You can check us out there. I need you to understand that I want you to help me, and let's keep building a community of women who are unshakable, unstoppable, and positioned for more. You are a resilient bunch. You're a resilient group of women, and I know God has so much more. Until next time, stay resilient, stay faithful, and keep walking into your more. There's power in resistance. So be resistant. Kind of let that thing bounce off of you and be determined that you will not fail. I'm Lady Nicole Green, and this has been our time. The gospel according to her. Resilience. The power of resilience. Man, I'm so happy for us because we got to fight back. I'll see you next time.
Tune in next week for the Pink Pulpits Podcast, the gospel according to her. Be sure to like, follow, share, and subscribe to this amazing weekly podcast with your host, Lady Nicole Green. That's right, the Pink Pulpits Podcast, the gospel according to her.